Anarchy. Now, this is also a new form of society. After you've learned this agricultural thing, it starts supporting a bigger population. You start getting towns. You start getting things like this. But there's really no central government, as it were. Okay, a classic description of this is in the book of Judges, Judges 17:6. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did what was right in his own eyes. A contemporary parallel for this, Somalia comes to mind. Places like this. The society you see here is characterized by lots of warlords, people fighting each other, not a lot of security. A type of marriage, lover is definitely almost dead at this point. Vanilla polygyny is starting to take over. Now, this situation doesn't last for very long. Usually, one of these warlords starts to accumulate more power than the others and eliminates them and becomes a king. Contemporary parallels of this, Saudi Arabia is the classic case of this. Biblical description, I hardly need to give the citations here. Samuel, 1st and 2nd Samuel. The book of Samuel actually documents another process of this societal change that's happening. We're going from a anarchy society to a monarchy. Type of marriage that's here. Okay, we start getting what's called a strategic polygyny. The king starts marrying many different daughters from other kings to like form strategic alliances and all this kind of stuff. And polygyny for the masses starts to go out of favor. Polygyny starts to become more of a royal prerogative than anything else, but you still see it practiced. Now, by best proof text for this kind of God's sanction of this form of marriage is under dispute in another video, so I'll pass over it in silence. Now, as monarchies evolve, the kings get more and more power, and it soon develops into an empire, right? So megastates, Rome, this kind of stuff. Best contemporary parallel to ancient Rome or these empires is today. United States of America is really what we're talking about here. And the interesting thing is, if you're looking at these types of empires, you're looking at Hellenistic empires, or Roman Empire, or United States. Again, they all have the same kind of marriage, just like the pastorals all have the same kind of marriage. The empires all have the same kind of marriage. What it is it's heterosexual monogamy. All right, and this is a very interesting thing. Now, what is the biblical sanction for this kind of marriage? Now, note very carefully, these empires didn't start to form until after the Old Testament was written. So we really don't have the description of this. I mean, the Maccabees describe a little bit of how these empires start and some of the tensions that arrive when the process of Hellenization starts. But we don't really have any canonical biblical text for this. So what is a biblical text which argues specifically for heterosexual monogamy? We really don't have one. Okay, the best example, I mean, it was given by this guy posted something on the discussion of the videos that went before this one. A fellow by the name of Ezekiel 3:16. That's his YouTube handle, not a biblical citation. He gives the example: "Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife." And kudos to Ezekiel 3:16. This is really the best description of this that we have. But is it really a description of it? I mean, this really leaves very ambiguous just how many wives are to be clung onto. And other texts, Deuteronomy 25:5 and 2 Samuel, clearly show that the equation isn't always just 1 plus 1 equals 1 here. So, as you can see, I mean, the Bible covers a long period of time during several distinct phases in the evolution of human societies. And you can see that it documents this, not just the, whatever societies are there, but it also documents the process of how societies change from one phase to another. And what's more, how the institution of marriage changes along with it. I mean, today, there is no evangelical Christian on this planet, okay, who practices levirate marriage. It's just not done. So the interesting thing is like, okay, so think about it. What's happening today? What's the really relevance for this for us today, right? Are we undergoing societal change today? Yes, very definitely. We're undergoing mega societal change today. What are we doing? We're kind of changing from this empire system where there's like multiple empires to more of a, on the economic level at least, a unified economic system, right? There's really only one market now. There's one world. There used to be several worlds, but they're all like kind of merging into one. This is causing lots of stresses and strains. This is causing lots of upset. Nothing new here, right? And if we've read our Bibles, we shouldn't be surprised at all that the institution of marriage would be coming under stresses and strains. Just like the leverets really stopped working when people changed from a nomadic society to a more settled agricultural society, the institution of heterosexual marriage is actually starting to show signs. It's really not working for a lot of people today. And, we really shouldn't be surprised that people would be trying to propose new systems of marriage and new systems of arrangements. I mean, and I think the Bible very clearly shows two things, right? As these societies evolved and as these societies progressed, God kind of sanctioned each one of those marriages as was devised for that society to fit that society. And two, just because there's like, some proof text in the Bible there. I mean, Deuteronomy 25:5, clearly says that if your brother dies, you should marry his wife. Nobody's going to do this, right? Okay, so, in point of fact, everybody takes the parts of the Bible that work for us today in our society, right? Everybody does this. So if it's okay to take parts of Deuteronomy that describe marriage and describe, sexual behavior and just not follow those, it's okay to take parts of Leviticus and just not follow those either. All right? Thanks very much for listening to this very long, probably boring series of 2 videos.